What if I told you that most negative people never actually ruin your life? You do. Not because you're weak, not because you're broken, but because you keep giving them something they desperately want: your attention. Think about it. How many times has one negative comment ruined an entire day? How many times has one toxic person occupied your thoughts for hours, maybe even weeks? And what if I told you that by the end of this video, you'll see negative people completely differently than you do now? Stay until the end because the final lesson might be the most important thing you hear today. And if you enjoy deep psychological and philosophical videos that help you build a stronger mind, subscribe now. Most people spend years trying to change negative people. Strong people learn how to ignore them. Let's begin with a simple question. Why do negative people have so much power over us in the first place? The answer is surprisingly simple. Human beings evolved to pay attention to danger. Thousands of years ago, ignoring danger could get you killed. Your brain learned to focus more on threats than opportunities, more on criticism than praise, more on fear than confidence. This survival mechanism kept your ancestors alive. But in the modern world, the same mechanism creates a different problem. Now, the threats aren't lions or predators. The threats are opinions, criticism, gossip, judgment, toxic coworkers, negative friends, and strangers on the internet. Yet your brain often reacts as if these things are life-threatening. One rude comment can feel more powerful than 100 compliments. One negative person can occupy more space in your mind than 10 positive people. And that is exactly why learning to ignore negativity is a superpower. Most negative people are fighting battles you cannot see. Think about the person who constantly criticizes others. The person who always complains, the person who mocks dreams, the person who tells everyone why something won't work. Have you ever noticed something interesting? Happy people rarely spend their time destroying others. People who are excited about life don't usually wake up searching for someone to discourage. People who are genuinely fulfilled don't constantly spread bitterness. Negativity is often a reflection, not a weapon. It reflects the emotional state of the person holding it. When someone constantly spreads negativity, they are usually revealing far more about themselves than about you. Ancient philosophers understood this long before modern psychology existed. The Stoics taught that you cannot control what other people say, think, or do. You can only control your response. Yet most people live their lives backwards. They spend enormous amounts of energy trying to control external things while completely neglecting the one thing they actually control: themselves. Imagine carrying a backpack. Every insult goes inside. Every criticism goes inside. Every negative opinion goes inside. Every rude comment goes inside. Eventually, the backpack becomes so heavy that you can barely move forward. But here's the truth. Most of the weight was optional. You chose to carry it. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that every opinion deserves attention. It doesn't. Imagine walking through a city and listening to every random person shouting from every window. You would go insane. Yet this is exactly what many people do mentally. They treat every opinion as important, every criticism as valuable, every negative comment as truth, but not all voices deserve equal access to your mind. In fact, one of the most powerful skills in life is learning who deserves your attention and who doesn't. Negative people often operate from fear. Fear disguises itself in many forms. Sometimes it looks like criticism. Sometimes it looks like jealousy. Sometimes it looks like sarcasm. Sometimes it looks like concern. You tell someone about a goal and they immediately explain why it won't work. You tell someone about a dream and they immediately focus on failure. You tell someone about an opportunity and they immediately focus on risk. They're not always trying to hurt you. Sometimes they're projecting their own fears onto your future. They assume your limits are the same as theirs. They assume your potential is the same as theirs. They assume your courage is the same as theirs. But it isn't. Think about every successful person you've ever admired. Every entrepreneur, every athlete, every artist, every creator, every leader. At some point, someone told them they couldn't do it. Someone laughed, someone doubted, someone criticized, someone predicted failure. If success required universal approval, almost nobody would achieve anything meaningful. The problem is that negativity feels urgent. It demands attention. It wants a reaction. It wants emotional energy. This is why internet arguments never end. This is why toxic people continue their behavior. They survive on attention. Every reaction feeds a cycle. Every emotional response gives negativity more influence over your life. The moment you stop reacting, something interesting happens. their power begins to disappear. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself that difficult people are inevitable. Every day you will meet selfish people, arrogant people, jealous people, angry people, dishonest people. This isn't a sign that the world is broken. It's simply reality. Expecting a world without negative people is like expecting an ocean without waves. The goal is not to eliminate negativity. The goal is to become strong enough that it no longer controls you. Imagine a giant oak tree during a storm. The wind attacks it from every direction. The rain crashes against it. The conditions become violent, yet the tree remains rooted. Why? Because its strength doesn't come from controlling the storm. Its strength comes from its roots. The same principle applies to your life. You don't become mentally strong by controlling every negative person around you. You become mentally strong by developing roots so deep that negativity cannot shake you. Another reason people struggle with negativity is insecurity. When someone criticizes something you're already insecure about, it hurts more. When someone attacks a weakness you secretly worry about, their words feel powerful. This is why self-confidence matters so much. Confidence doesn't mean believing you're perfect. Confidence means understanding that your worth isn't determined by every random opinion you encounter. Think about a mirror. If a mirror is clean, it reflects reality clearly. If it's dirty, everything appears distorted. Insecurity acts like dirt on the mirror. It distorts how you interpret criticism. Suddenly, one negative comment becomes proof that you're a failure. One rejection becomes proof that nobody likes you. One mistake becomes proof that you'll never succeed. But reality is rarely that extreme. Negative people also reveal something valuable. They show you who not to become. Every bitter person is a warning. Every resentful person is a lesson. Every toxic individual demonstrates what happens when anger, envy, and negativity remain unchecked for years. Instead of hating them, learn from them. Use them as examples of paths you don't want to follow. One of the most freeing realizations in life is understanding that not everyone has to like you. Read that again. Not everyone has to like you. Most people spend years exhausting themselves trying to gain universal approval, but it's impossible. No matter what you do, someone will disagree. Someone will criticize. Someone will misunderstand. Someone will dislike you. That's not failure. That's life. The strongest people are not those who receive the least criticism. They're the people who continue moving forward despite criticism. They don't waste their lives defending every decision. They don't explain themselves to everyone. They don't seek permission to pursue meaningful goals. They understand that growth often requires disappointing people who preferred the old version of them. Think about how much life changes when you stop taking everything personally. Suddenly, criticism becomes information instead of injury. Negativity becomes background noise instead of a personal attack. Other people's moods stop controlling your emotions. Their bitterness stops defining your day. Their fears stop limiting your future. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Sometimes negative people are secretly upset because you're growing. Your progress reminds them of their own inaction. Your discipline highlights their excuses. Your courage exposes their fear. Your ambition confronts their comfort. Not everyone will celebrate your growth. Some people benefit from the version of you that stays small. This is why boundaries are essential. Ignoring negative people doesn't always mean physically leaving. Sometimes it means emotionally disconnecting. It means refusing to let their words live rent-free in your mind. It means protecting your attention like a valuable resource. Because attention is your life. Whatever receives your attention receives your energy. Whatever receives your energy grows stronger. Ask yourself honestly, how much of your life has been controlled by people who won't matter 5 years from now? How many dreams were delayed because of criticism? How many opportunities were missed because of fear of judgment? How much happiness was sacrificed trying to satisfy people who were never going to be satisfied anyway? The truth is simple. Negative people will always exist. Critics will always exist. Doubters will always exist. Haters will always exist. But your future doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the decisions you make every day. It belongs to your focus, your discipline, your mindset, your courage. The next time someone spreads negativity, pause before reacting. Ask yourself a simple question. Does this deserve space in my mind?